Welcome back to the Lars Larson Show. I'll get back to your phone calls here in a moment, but I want to get right to this interview with a couple of very honored gentlemen. Terry Hoey, who is a retired Master Chief Petty Officer from the U.S. Navy, and also John Lilia, who is Sergeant First Class, U.S. Army retired. You know, we're going to have to get one of our gentlemen back up on the line, if you don't mind, Brenton, because I lost to Terrence Hoey. We'll get him back on the line here. Sergeant, thank you so much for taking the time, and thanks for your service to the United States.
Thank you, Lars.
I wanted to talk to you about this decision that's been made by the Ninth Circus Court. I call it that because they're overturned most frequently, and they do come up with some crazy decisions. But are they right when they say that it is not illegal or that it's unconstitutional to have a law making it illegal to wear military medals that you never earned?
Well, in my opinion, and I'm not a justice of the Supreme Court, and that's where this is going to end up, because the Fourth Circuit has made a decision that contradicts the decision the Ninth Circuit made last night, so it's going to go to the Supreme Court. But I think they're wrong in this case.
And in fact, you and the group Stolen Valor have been out trying to chase down people in America who, for whatever reason, I think they have to have a mental disease or defect to want to do this. They go out and they wear the uniform of military service, in many cases that they never had any connection with, and then they wear medals that they never earned. So how do we push back against this? How do we fight these folks who've decided to take credit for something that they were never involved in? And by the way, I've got Terry Hoey back on the line with me. Thanks so much, Terrence. I appreciate you coming back on the program. Sorry we lost connection.
No, it's okay. Thanks for having me, Lars.
I was just asking John about this decision by the Ninth Circus Court that somehow they don't think that it's constitutional to have a law that says that it's illegal to wear medals for military service that you never earned.
Well, I'm not surprised to see anything coming out of the Ninth Circuit. I have to be honest with you. You know, they've been legislating from the bench for many, many years now, and we caught wind of this story yesterday, and then early today. It's been all over the veterans and Stolen Valor blogs, and John can speak to that.
In fact, John, would you mind speaking to that a bit? Because I imagine there's some service members who aren't terribly happy about this decision.
Well, basically, it doesn't change anything that we do, because even if they do, if the Supreme Court does make it, makes the law illegal, it's still not going to stop us from exposing people. And that's really what this is mostly about, is letting people know that there are these criminals out here, and that's what they are, criminals. And many times we find that the Stolen Valor is just part of the criminality that they're involved in.
Terry, let me ask you about something else, too, because I had sent you a story, and of course you were already aware of the story. But for those people who've been following the dispute going on between militia members in eastern Oregon who've taken over a federal building on the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, one of those people who's engaged in the takeover, who's been acting as, I guess, one of the bodyguards for members of the Bundy family that are involved in this, he's actually a guy who's engaged in Stolen Valor. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct, Lars. In fact, the individual you're speaking of, he's well known to us in the community. He spent about as much time in the service as I have spitting over the side of 3 vessels over my 32-year career. So it's not a surprise to us that these Valor thieves show up at these events. And whether they're oath keepers or otherwise, they seem to band together, and they don't talk about their military careers amongst one another. They just believe they are what they say they are, and they're not. John has written extensively about many of these individuals at his website, This Ain't Hell, but you can see it from here.
Well, tell me this, and I want to direct people. We'll give plenty of notice to my audience about where to find the website, because I want them to be aware of this. They're the people who help you track down these folks by saying, oh, I know that guy. I know where he works. I know where he lives, and they get you the information. But the thing that's a little hard to believe is that you'd think these people would want to avoid detection. If you show up at an event that you know is virtually guaranteed to bring media attention, and this guy knew from his time with Cliven Bundy in Nevada, being part of that standoff with the federal government, he knew to a fair certainty they were going to get some media attention. Why do these guys want to do this and then not just show up at a reunion of military members who actually served, but they show up at places where they're likely to be seen by a lot of people who know that they never served in the military? That would seem to be incredibly risky behavior.
Well, I've been involved in exposing a lot of those people that are in Oath Keepers and militias. In fact, I was the one that broke the story about many of the ones that were exposed this last week because I'd already done the research on them. And mostly they do it for the attention. So if they can all get together with their other little faker buddies and dress up in multicam, carrying guns, well, that's so much the better.
So, Terry, tell me this. If they're not afraid to show up where they know they're going to be seen, they know they're going to be videotaped, they know the videotapes on the news are going to be seen by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, and they're likely to be detected, what is the way that you can use to shut these guys down for good?
The truth. What we do in the community, in the veterans community, military community, and the online stolen valor community is we use the truth against these individuals. And we have systems for conducting research on everyone. We'll go to the National Personnel Records Center. We'll pull FOIAs on them. We will conduct online research, social media, and then we'll expose them. We will expose them, and we're neither apologetic or afraid. And we will continue to do that. We're the truth seekers. We speak for those who can't. In many cases, we find that there's individuals out there taking on personas of individuals who have died, who've been killed in battle. So for those who want to try this, they're going to run into an individual like myself or myself. If they do run into me, they'll be sorry because I'm fairly detailed in everything that I do. But there are many of us out there. The community's very, very tight. We're known amongst one another. One final thought on this, and John has already mentioned it. In 100% of the cases of stolen valor that we research, we always find a degree of financial fraud, whether it be being asked to be a marshal in a parade, a free cup of coffee, to veterans benefits scams, all the way up to millions of dollars in government contracts. So we've seen the entire gamut.
All right, well, let's try. I hope you can help shame these people into amending their behavior. Terry, thank you so much for the time and what you do. And John, thank you for your service. John Lilia, Specialist First Class, U.S. Army retired. Gentlemen, thanks for what you do with the Stolen Valor efforts. What are the best websites for people to check out?
Well, of course, Lars, it's mine. It's at thisain'thell.us.
Thisain'thell.us and Terry, Stolen Valor?
There are many out there. If you just Google Stolen Valor blogs, you'll get hit with like 10 or 15 of them. But John's is the best. It's This Ain't Hell, but you can see it from here.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I very much appreciate your service to America and your efforts against stolen valor.